kind of an intersectional politic that looks at fat phobia and says, this is wrong. There's nothing wrong with being fat. This is totally a natural part of body diversity. Yes, fat people have thriving, wonderful, beautiful lives. Yes, fat people are desirable. And absolutely, fat people should be protected from things like medical discrimination and the wage gap. You know, I mean, so like that's what those two things are. Like, one is the problem and fat activism is the response. And I think I want to say, right, like our current cultural attitude is that the solution to fat phobia is for fat people to become thin people. And we were never, I'm not a thin person. There's not secretly a thin person inside of me. There's, you know what I mean? There's this prevailing myth.
Whoa. This lady just said there's not a thin person inside of me. Yes, it is, ma'am. Oh, you got it. You are not, you're fat. You have a layer of gelatinous material around your skeletal structure and your organs. But there is a skinny person inside of you if you choose to get rid of the weight. I'm trying not to be mean in 2025. I just want to get the truth out there, man. But sometimes, like, let's keep going, though.
So important, right? Even people who understand what fat phobia is and really don't want to perpetuate ideas of fat phobia, they might still believe that a fat person is secretly a thin person. Mm-hmm. And that I'm really here to like dismantle it. So I see like the culture is like, oh, solution to fat phobia, just try and force and bully every fat person to become a thin person.
Man, liberals, man, nobody is trying to bully anybody into being thin. If somebody fat shames you or cares enough about you for you to encourage you to lose weight, I would assume it's for your health and for because they care about your well-being. But I could be mistaken.
And fat activism says, no, you do not blame the individual who's experiencing discrimination for the discrimination. You end the discrimination.
Yeah. You spoke on a couple things there that really stood out to me. One is just really we're looking at different layers where fat phobia exists. We're talking about the interpersonal layers, you know, how we relate to it and how it shows up in our lives. As a cisgendered, queer, gay man, you know, our whole identity revolves around like, let's be as fit as possible, thin as possible, be as desirable as possible. Fat phobia. We're looking at the system like you're talking about. We love seeing magazine covers of what you said, a fat celebrity, for lack of a better word, that now has lost 100 pounds. We love to see that. Oh, so we knew it. It's like the psychology of it is like, see, I knew it. I knew that skinny person was always inside there. Now look at them, how happy.
That skinny person was always inside there. Am I tripping? Does that sound insane to anybody else?
They must be. So systemically, we still perpetuate this. The system of gyms, of diets that are not seen as diets. Like, you know, I'm going to get a juice cleanse. And it's like, oh, that's healthy.
Man. You know, with Trump's latest, you know, victory over media, the government, deep state, the FBI, wokeness, you know, with wokeness seemingly being on the decline lately, I'm so happy about that, man. I hope stuff like this goes away, but I know it's not going anywhere. But I hope more people speak out against the insanity that is people like this person and these ideas, because I can't, man. But let's keep going.
You know, I'm doing it for health reasons, but really, are you doing it to control weight in some way? And then there's, of course, the institutionalized forms of fat phobia that you said, you know, how
this is the most buzzwords I've heard in the video in a while. This.
It's illegal, the inherent bias, medical inherent bias, all these ways that it shows up and how it really starts to open your mind about the decisions you make about your body. Now, if I were to take a Venn diagram where we say on one side is health and one side is fat, and where people see fat and they see it as unhealthy, where do those converge in the middle? You know, because I know plenty of people that would, according to a BMI index or according to a doctor, oh, they're overweight, they're obese, but they can run a mile faster than I can. They are more flexible than I am. They're more healthy in the way that we consider health to be healthy. Where do you see the intersection? Really, what is your definition of health?
Yeah, that's really complicated, right? I think I want to talk about that question, but I want to start by saying that, you know, no one has to be healthy. No, right? Like,
What?
and it's like, no, like there.
Who is this lady? What is this lady's name? What is her name? She say no one has to be healthy.
And then there's, of course,
Hold up. What? Virgi Tovar, author, activist, and expert in weight-based discrimination. Lord have mercy. No one has to be. You ain't got to be healthy, but again, it's in your best interest not to be overweight. I don't get people who trying to fight to be unhealthy, man. It's another thing we need to leave it back in 2024, man.
There is no governing body that's like out there putting, you know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like no one owes anybody that in either the traditional sense of the word or any other more innovative or, you know, more politicized, maybe even version of that word. So I think it's important to say like, and I want to back up and bring in intersectionality and say like, right, like look at the disabled community, right? Like I think people with disabilities have, and activists within that space have consistently been saying like, I'm never going to be your notion of healthy. That doesn't mean I don't get to be a full human. You get to
Being disabled is something you can't help. You can be born disabled. You can have an accident and become disabled. But you can't go to the gym and become abled again in most cases. You can't change your diet and become an able-bodied person again. It's not necessarily majority of the time in your power to change. And being fat, unless you have a thyroid issue or something, it's not the same as being. It's like voluntarily being disabled, because you can be so fat that you're disabled and you can't walk and you need help walking and you can't get out of bed. You got bed sores. You're so gelatinous. But normally speaking, you can lose weight if you so choose to and have the willpower to do so. But let's keep going, man.
to treat me some kind of way, right? And so I think that I love taking that principle within disability rights to fat activism and to understandings of fatness. So I want to start there,
Fat
right? Like,
activism.
no matter what size you are, you don't owe anybody else your health. But I mean, for me,
But you owe yourself your health. Why would you voluntarily want to spend your time in life, your one chance at life, as an overweight person? Don't get me wrong, if you are overweight and you just haven't got to the point where you have gotten to that journey of losing weight, or you're just content with the way you are and you love yourself the way you are, that's cool. But being an activist, trying to influence other people to be fat and not lose weight if they see so fit, that's kind of evil to me, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping.
right, like in an ideal world where, like, in an ideal world, there wouldn't be health-based gatekeeping at all. But let's take a step back and say, okay, like I want to redefine the notion of health. In my mind, it's a very expansive notion that takes into account spiritual health, that takes into account, do you have community? Do you feel like, I mean, like one of the things that fatphobia does, just like a lot of other marginalized, you know, like phobias and like different kinds of discrimination, is it creates a sense that you don't belong in your own society. That it's essentially like, I use the metaphor of the family. Like when you're in a marginalized body or have a marginalized identity, it's kind of like when your parents sort of kick you out of their house. So for me, right, like I always go back to notions of like what we know that humans need is they are connection, acceptance, love, comfort, affirmation.
You need some tough love too, and some shame. That's the moral of this video. We need to bring back shame in 2025. Bring it back. Bring it all the way back. People need constructive criticism. People do not need to continue to be coddled in this world, in these societies, in these, I hate the word, but spaces that we reside in. People need to know that they're going down the wrong path. People who care about these people need to tell them, stop coddling people. If somebody is overweight and you care about them, tell them the truth. Tell them that it would be in their best interest to go on a diet or, you know, hit the gym. Let's go for a run. You know what I'm saying? If somebody is in a bad relationship, you know, I don't know, if somebody, you know, is depressed, like if somebody is, you know, is anything detrimental to them and, you know, people around them, speak up about it. We have to stop reinforcing bad behaviors and bad lifestyles, because it got out of hand a long time ago. But let me know what y'all think about it, man. Get in the comment section. Let's debate about it. Let's talk about it, man. And yeah, this is Quote Goats Clips. This is your boy Tommy Guns, and I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.
The